Political Election of 1960, Kennedy vs. Nixon by James Blackwell. John F. Kennedy was a politician in 1960 and served from 1961 to 1963. His slogan was "A Time for Greatness." According to Porter, Democrat John F. Kennedy, his 1960 opt for the aspirational "A Time for Greatness" slogan and his winning bid for the presidency. Porter won. Another slogan of him was "A New Leader" for the 1960s, and this was a new leadership and a youthful candidate for this campaign. A time for greatness and a new leader. What it represented was hope and change and a future for the country. He was a young guy. He was elected. He was only 43 years old. I'd compare him to Obama in 2008 when he was elected. You know, just having catchy slogans that really draw your audience in to connect with the American people. And that's what JFK did with these campaign slogans. First, 1960. Nixon was the vice president with Eisenhower from 1953 to 1961. Nixon had more experience than John F. Kennedy, but not in personality. John F. Kennedy was able to connect with the youth and many minorities and was a revolutionary speaker. Kennedy was a senator and was very well liked. Kennedy had a youthful appearance, and Nixon, people could not connect with him as well, so that was interesting. I'll talk to you about some of the Kennedy controversies. John F. Kennedy, he was diagnosed with Addison's disease and many other neurological disorders. He had some drug use problems, like he took medication, and he did have multiple affairs on his wife, Jackie Kennedy, with Marilyn Monroe and many other mistresses. And so there is a lot of controversies with the Kennedys, and yep. John F. Kennedy is that there's never been another Kennedy in the White House. There's kind of like a Kennedy curse in the family. Bobby Kennedy, he was assassinated. Robert Kennedy died in a plane crash. I think his brother, Ted Kennedy, there was a controversy that he killed a chick, but he ran a campaign, but he never won. So there's a lot of hurt in the Kennedy family, and there's never been another Kennedy in the White House since JFK. Kennedy paraphernalia. According to JFK Library, John Fitzgerald Kennedy was the youngest man ever elected president, the first Catholic, and the first president born in the 20th century. He was elected president at age 43, the youngest president ever. He was popular with the youth, and he represented the young candidate, a new hope for America. Kennedy and Lyndon Johnson, the vice president, they had paraphernalia of ads and flyers for their campaign, and it was a very well done campaign. Continuing with the paraphernalia, Lyndon Johnson was John F. Kennedy's running mate, and they had many flyers like Kennedy Johnson 1960, and how they did a lot of speeches together. They did campaign rallies, and JFK was a revolutionary speaker, and so a lot of their slogans and their booklets, they really connected with the American people, minorities, people that wanted change and wanted a new future and someone younger for America. According to the Library of Congress, the presidential election of 1960, Nixon versus Kennedy, John F. Kennedy was a wealthy Democrat senator from Massachusetts, was elected president in 1960, defeating Vice President Richard Nixon. Though he clearly won the electoral vote, Kennedy received only 118,000 more votes than Nixon in this close election. Voters could relate to Kennedy due to his youthful appearance and his ability to be with the crowd. Here are some John F. Kennedy quotes. In serving his vision of the truth, according to JFK Library, in serving his vision of the truth, the artist best serves his nation. Remarks at Amherst College, receiving his honorary degree. In 1962, according to JFK Library, it's only when they join together in a forward movement that the country moves ahead. And according to JFK Library, this country cannot afford to be materially rich and spiritually poor. He's known for his quotes and is able to connect with the American people. Here's a good JFK quote from 1960 from the JFK Library. "We stand today on the edge of a new frontier, the frontier of the 1960s, a frontier of unknown opportunities and perils, a frontier of unfilled hopes and threats." John F. Kennedy's Democratic acceptance speech for his nominee. This kind of deals with paraphernalia, with being a new hope for the country, someone new after Eisenhower, having this young candidate come in and John F. Kennedy served as president from 1961 to 1963. On November 20, according to WhiteHouse.gov, on November 2nd, 1963, when he was hardly past his first 1,000 days in office, JFK was assassinated in Dallas, Texas, becoming the youngest president to die. He left a legacy on the Democratic politicians and for America due to his policies, and he was elected, and he was a more charismatic guy than Nixon. Nixon was elected in like 1968, but he was before. Here's my works cited page, JFK Library. I accessed a source about the political campaign of 1960. Here's another source, JFK Library, about John F. Kennedy quotes. Here's another source cited, the Library of Congress, classroom materials that I found about the election and about the winning slogan from every U.S. campaign, which I found out about John F. Kennedy. It shows all the slogans from the political campaigns. It was very interesting to learn about in this presentation. Here's probably my most interesting source. I found this on WhiteHouse.gov. It was about John F. Kennedy and his biography, and it was like a White House website, like a political website. So this was an interesting source to learn about. I would like to thank you for watching my presentation. Liberty University Online, HIUS 341, James Blackwell, Professor Bixler, created by James Blackwell.